Namaste and welcome. I feel it's a special day today because I'm finally shooting week 28. It's been quite a journey. I have taken over a year. At the beginning, when I set out to do this project, I imagined I would consistently post one video a week. Unfortunately, I have not been able to do that. However, I am grateful that I'm able to complete it as of today. If you're watching it, then it's been uploaded already on YouTube. And for that, I feel quite grateful. I have learned many things, and while doing this, and for that, I think there should be another separate video which would perhaps list out the things that I have learned while trying to shoot the sequence of these 28 weeks. Well, I would say on a personal level, it has been a learning journey for me in terms of truly understanding the importance of learning asanas in a sequential manner. So if you're here, then join me for week 28. The sequence of asanas are actually very similar to week 26. However, the fact that we have practiced it means it needs repetition. So, without any more talk, let us begin the practice. Sit up tall. Keep the spine erect. That means we are lifting from the base of the spine. We are lifting the sides of the trunk. We are spreading our collarbones, lifting the whole, the neck, the head upwards. Maintaining this lift, bring the palms of the hand and let it rest at the center of your heart. Spread your collarbones, roll the shoulders back, move the shoulder blades into the back, evenly sitting on your buttocks. Softly close your eyes, gazing down slightly at your folded palms. And we start with the invocation to Patanjali. We start with the invocation to Lord Patanjali. Yogena chitasya padena vacham malam sharirasya javaidakena yopa karotam pravaram muninam patanjalim pranjaliranatosmi abahu purushakaram shankachakra siddharinam Sahasra shirasam shvetam pranamami patanjalim harihi om. And then we start. We start with the 3 Oms and the invocation to Lord Patanjali. Take a long, slow, deep inhalation. Om. 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 Yogena chitasya padena vacham malam sharirasya javaidakena yopa karotam pravaram muninam patanjalim pranjaliranatosmi Abahu Purushakaram Shankha Chakra Sidharinam Sahasra Shirasam Shvetam Pranamami Patanjalim Hari Om. Take another long, slow, deep inhalation and exhalation. Gently lowering your head down. Release the hands and open your eyes. Let us start in Samasthiti or Utkatasana. Stand with your feet together. Join your big toes. Evenly press the bottom of your feet down. Keep your knees straight, elbows straight. Lift the sides of the trunk. Look forward. See that you're pressing the heels firmly down. You're keeping the shoulders back, lengthening both sides of the neck evenly, becoming more aware of the right side, the left side of the body, the front and the back of the body. From here, we are going to go for Gomukhasana. So reach your right arm up. Use the right upper arm to lengthen the sides of the trunk, lifting upward. Take your arm back. Maintain the lift and length of your spine as you bend your right arm back. Take your left hand from below. See if you can clasp the fingers. By now, you know if you need a belt or not. Keep the extension of the upper arm, opening the armpit chest, taking your left shoulder back, from the shoulder moving to the elbows. Evenly press your heels down. Look forward. Look straight. Release. Lift your left arm up. Stretch the whole side of your body. Extend the side chest. Keep the arms straight, elbows straight. Extend through the fingers. Maintain the extension of the side trunk as you take your left arm back. Take your right hand from below. Once you've got the clasp, see that your collarbones are spreading. You're rolling your right shoulder back, spreading the chest, looking forward. Stretch the sides of the trunk evenly. Don't shorten one side. And notice if your head is leaning on one side, trying to keep your head centered. Evenly press the bottom of your feet. Now release. Paschima Namaskara. Again, since we are doing back bends, we are working on actually opening the shoulders. We are working on lifting this armpit chest up. We are also working on the rotation of the arm. So these initial preparation poses are to remind us that these actions have to be taken across through the sequence. So then when we take our hands back from below, we try to press the palms into each other. Try to spread the fingers evenly. Notice if your collarbones are still spreading, your shoulders go back. Keep the shoulders moving down to the elbows. Move the elbows in the direction of the forearm as you press your hands down. You can make your hands go higher up. Yes, you can go higher up. In this position, we have to keep the front of the spine lifting so that we can move that dorsal spine in. Keep the sternum, chest open. Shoulders back. Now release. We are going to go for Utkatasana. So let's start by lifting our arms up. Again, emphasis is on seeing that the shoulders stay down, yet you're lifting the side trunk. Use your upper arm, straighten your elbows, evenly stretch and lift the upper body up. Maintain the lift. The sides are lifting, the front is lifting, the back is moving into the body. And then from there, go ahead and press, go down from the hip. As you press your heels, bend your knees. Go down, bending the knees as much as possible. I'm just turning sideways. Here, the sitting bones don't go back. The sitting bones go down. As the sitting bones go down, move that dorsal spine in. So we don't want the roundedness of our back. Stretch your armpits long. Lift the front side. Go on lifting the side trunk. Keep lifting through the upper arms. Take your upper arms back, moving the dorsal in. Keep your weight heavy on the heels. Inhale and come up. Bring your hands down. Uttita Hasta Padasana. So we are going to bring our hands in the center. Bend your knees. Jump and spread the legs out. Stretch your arms. Spread the collarbones. Elbows straight. Adjust your feet to see that your feet are evenly pressing into the mat. Your big toes are extending, elbows straight. Now from here, we are going to go for Parshvahasta Padasana. Again, just turning from the root of the leg. Very important. Don't disturb the rest of the body. Keep the left arm stretching. Keep your left leg straight. Only turning from the root of the leg. The thigh has to turn. The buttock has to move in. The hip has to stay lifted. Now, without disturbing the torso, try your best to keep your chest and head in the center. Turn your foot. Now, go on stretching, pressing your left heel, right heel firmly, especially the right side now. Resist your right thigh, draw the right buttock in and turn your left knee, left thigh, left foot out. Evenly extend both sides of the trunk. Keep the shoulders moving down, the shoulder blades moving in, and elbows straight, fingers straight. Now maintain this alignment as you slowly turn your foot back in. Try not to disturb the whole torso. Now let's jump back. Or walk back, of course. By now you know again if you need to walk or jump back. Roll the shoulders back, moving the inner shoulders down, moving the shoulder blades into the back. The sides of the chest come forward, yet the abdomen doesn't puff forward. We keep the abdomen back so that we can go to the spine and keep that extension of the spinal column, taking the shoulders back, elbows straight. Utthita Trikonasana. Bring your hands in the center, jump and spread your legs out. Keep the distance of Utthita Hasta Padasana. Turn your right leg out completely. Turn your knee, your foot. See that you're drawing your thighs into the hip, keeping your legs straight. Take a deep inhale, extending both sides of the trunk evenly. Go down to Trikonasana. How low you go down is not important. Both sides of your trunk should be extended evenly. Turn the pelvis, turn the chest, look straight. If you can, turn and gaze to look up towards your fingertips and keep the extension of the arms. Knees straight, elbows straight. Inhale and come up. Turn your foot back in the center. Stretch your elbows, straighten your knees. Turn your left leg out from the root. Again, the whole thigh has to turn. The thigh has to draw into the hip. Do not just drop. So this pelvis has to lift. The pelvis stays in line. Lift both sides of the abdomen. Keep the left buttock tucked in. Keep the left thigh rolling. Press into the legs. Extend both sides of the torso long as you go down. When you're down in the pose, keep both sides of the torso down. Turn your abdomen, turn your chest, and keep stretching up through the arms. Shoulders moving into the spine. Pressing into the back leg. Inhale and come up. Turn your toes in. Jump and walk your legs back. And take a moment once more, standing tall. Big toes connect. Lift the armpit chest. Take the outer shoulders back. Extending through the upper arms, through the elbows, into the fingertips. Stretch each finger so that it pulls the shoulders down. Now we go for Virabhadrasana 2. So bring your hands in the center again. Jump and spread your legs out. Keep your feet parallel to each other. So toes pointing straight. Just like we did in the previous pose. Turn your right leg out from the root of the thigh. Keep your left leg firm. Evenly extending both sides of the torso. Take a deep inhale and with an exhalation, go down from the hip. We want to lower our hip down. However, when we have tightness, which is going to be there, see that you don't throw your buttock out. Keep the outer hips in. Lift both sides of the trunk evenly. Go on lifting the sides of the trunk as you go down from the hip. Keep your left leg straight. Turn to look towards your fingertips. Stretch both arms equally. Inhale and come up. Turn your toes in. Stretch your arms. Turn your left knee, left thigh, left foot out. Stamp the outer edge of your right heel. Again, stretch your right elbow. Press your right heel, keeping the right buttock in, keeping both sides of the trunk lifting. Take a deep inhale. Go on lifting both sides of the trunk as you bend down. Don't let the chest collapse, head collapse. See that both sides of the trunk are going down. As you bend your front leg to 90 degrees, straighten your left leg to 90 degrees, straighten your right leg more. See that your abdomen turns from the left to the right. Chest turns from the left to the right, but only turn your head to look towards your fingertips. Inhale and come up. Turn your toes in. Jump and come back to standing. Utthita Parshvakonasana. Bring your hands in the center. Jump and spread the legs out. Extend both sides of the chest. Stretch your arms, straighten your legs. Take a deep inhale. With that, slowly begin to turn your right leg out completely from the root of the thigh. Press that left heel down. Keep your left knee straight. Take a deep inhale. With an exhalation, go down from the hip. Then lengthen the right side of your torso. Place your right hand down and sweep your left arm over your head. You have to see that in whatever position, your chest is not facing the floor. You have to turn your abdomen, turn your chest, elongate both sides of the torso, and keep the extension of the side body. Tuck your right hip in, move the right knee into the arm, and open the chest. The whole right side of the chest should try and come forward in front of your right thigh, not go back. So you have to really bring that rib cage in as you stretch your arms. Inhale and come up. Turn your toes in. Once more, extending both sides of the chest. Now let's do the left side. Turn your left leg out completely. Stamp your right heel firmly. Lift both sides of the chest. So you have to keep your awareness. Yes, your side chest is spreading. Take a deep inhale. As you exhale, go down. Again, maintain this rotation and go down from the hip. Now you can place your hand on the break or on the side as you reach your arm. Notice how the chest shrinks. You have to spread, elongate the sides of the chest evenly as you stretch your top upper arm. Move your left knee into the upper arm. Let your left hip go down, but keep your right leg straight, especially the right inner thigh. We can very easily collapse it. Keep the pressing of the right inner heel, right inner thigh back, and stretch your right upper arm. Inhale and come up. Turn your foot in, jump, and come back to standing. Pause, recover your breath. Spread your collarbones, elbows straight. Connect the big toes, straighten your legs. Keep the weight on the heels. Observe the natural flow of breath. Next, we go for Virabhadrasana 2. Bring your hands in the center again. Jump and spread your legs out. All these jumpings bring some lightness into our body, more movement. It keeps our energy up. With an inhalation, lift and stretch your arms up, like in Utkatasana. Use your arms, especially you have to keep the outer shoulders in, outer deltoids in, keeping the spreading of the chest. Don't close the chest. Lift and lengthen the spine up. Go on reaching. If you can bring your hands closer, go for it. Otherwise, keep the arms apart. It's probably better to keep both sides lifting. Now, when you turn yourself to the right side, the trunk has to lift away from the hip. Turning your left foot 60 degrees. Stamp the heels. The whole back of your left thigh has to turn. The hip has to turn. The rib cage has to turn. The abdomen has to turn. Do not throw your abdomen forward. Draw the abdomen back. Keep the rotation. Maintain the lift and action and bend your front leg. As you bend your front leg deep, see that you go to the heels. Press your heels. Again, spread your chest, spread your collarbones, lift the arms up, take your arms behind your head, move the dorsal in, but keep the front ribs into the body. Inhale and come up. Turn yourself to face forward. Relax for a moment with your hands down. I'm sure it's tiring. So pause, take a breath, toes pointing straight again. Stamp the outer edges of your feet. Spread your arms out from the center of the chest. This rotation of the upper arm has to be learned. We have to really turn that back armpit, turn the elbow, turn the palm, stretch your forearm, and then maintaining that extension, you go up. And don't just go take your arms up. Keep that rotation and lift the side chest up. Go on lifting. So this lifting is what creates the extension of our spinal column. Now turning your left leg out, turning your right foot in. See that the right inner knee is firm, right thigh is back, and we turn from the hip. Turn your right hip to the left. At the same time, see that your left hip is not forward. Move that left hip back. Move the left shoulder back. Right side of the chest coming forward. Reach your arms behind your ears. Open the armpit chest and bend your front leg to a 90-degree angle. Extend upwards. Move the back of the body in. At the same time, move the front of the body to the back of the body. Lowering your hips. Keep your left leg bent, your right knee straight. Pressing into the right heel. Inhale and come up. Turn yourself. Turn your feet in. And jump back and come down. Back to Samasthiti. Take the shoulders back. Move the shoulder blades into the back. Stretch your elbows. Stretch your wrist. Evenly stand on your feet, joining the big toes. Keeping the knees straight, elbows straight. Parivrtta-Trikonasana. Bring your hands in the center again. Here there is a rotation of the spine, which creates mobility on our rib cage. Jump and spread your legs out. Now we are turning to our right side. So turn your left foot like you did previously. Turn your right leg out. Now you can start with your hand on the hip, keeping the back leg firm. The whole chest, the hip has to turn. When you take your left arm, you have to go on turning your abdomen towards your right side, keeping your right side heavy. You have choices. You can put your hand on the inside. You can put your hand higher on the block, or you can go to the outside. Press all your fingertips firmly into the floor so that you can connect your shoulders, move the shoulders away from the head side and turn. These spinal muscles have to move away from the spine. Move them away from the spine. The front of the body, which shortens, you have to elongate and lift that left shoulder, right shoulder back and reach your right arm up. If your shoulder is rounding, you can keep your hand on the hip. Most important is to see that your shoulders spread, chest spreads, both sides of the trunk are even. Inhale and come up. Bring your hands down. Turn your toes, face forward again. Keep your legs firm. Stretch your arms out from the center of the chest. Now turning yourself to the left. So turn your left knee, left thigh, left foot. Turn your right toes in. See that your whole thigh has turned. And as you turn, here also you can do a variation with the arms in Vimanasana. So as we turn, we keep turning. We reach with the arms and go down from the hip. Once more, your fingers can be inside. It can go outside. You try and press your fingertips down and lift that top chest up. So don't let the spine sink. So this is where we create extension. Keep the lift of the arms to lift that whole side of the body up and away. At the same time, roll these spinal muscles so that they can move. Keep your hip in, back leg strong. Inhale and come up. Turn your toes in, jump, and come back to standing. Pause here for a few moments. Roll the shoulders back, straighten your elbows. Soft, smooth inhale and soft, smooth exhale. Next, we go for Parivrtta-Paschima. We are just going to do it through Vimanasana and just turning from the chest, not taking our hand down. You can even keep your hands on the hip. So bring your hands in the center, jump and spread your legs out. We start with Vimanasana. So turn your right leg, turn your left foot in. Again, you spread your chest as you go out and we bend the legs. So we spread and then you can bring your right hand on the hip. As you take your left upper arm, same as before, think of Parshokonasana. So we have to get this side of the rib as close as we can get to our right thigh. So roll these ribs, spread them away from your spine, and then use the leverage of the arm and think of your top shoulder. Your right shoulder has to come up, the collarbone spread, and then go down from the hip. Keep your back leg firm, the rotation of the ribs. Now inhale and come up. Bring your hands on the hip. Turn your chest. Look forward. Press your heels firmly. And we do the other side. So spread your arms. I'm going to come a little bit forward. So my arms are a little bit more extended equally. Because, of course, in a twist, we have to learn to spread our chest as much as we have to lift it. Right? So if we twist with a little shrinking, one side is collapsing, that is very it's not beneficial. So therefore, we have to pay attention not only to lift, but also to spread. So we have to judge our capacity and go accordingly. So lift the both sides of the chest, spread your collarbones, turning your left leg out, turn your right foot in. Be strong on the legs. The pelvis really helps stability. And as you turn your chest, you spread your chest. Keep the spreading of the chest as you go down. So here I'm working on spreading my chest as I take my hand down. So my arm is lifting already. I created that connection. Now I can start to create movement. So just like the back of the thigh has to turn, do not drop the hip. Keep the hip up and turn from the abdomen. Turn from the chest and lift the top arm up. Move your left hip in. Keep your right side of the body going forward. Head not going forward. The head stays in line. The chest goes forward. Inhale and come up. Turn your toes in. Jump and come back to Samasthiti again. Take your moment. Observe the breath. Normal inhale and exhale. Paravita Parshvakonasana. Jump and spread your legs out. Spread the chest. Turn your right leg out. Turn your left foot in. I keep the spreading of the chest as in Vimanasana as I bend my leg. So we bend the leg like in Virabhadrasana. Now you can keep your hand on the hip. So there is a rotation here. You go down. You hook your elbow wherever it's possible. You have to see that you're not rounding or creating a dome shape here. So create the connection. Spread your ribs. Keep the hips in. Back leg firm. So you can decide to go down, but you have to see that your chest doesn't collapse. Your chest is lifting, especially the frontal part of the chest. Inhale and come up. So this is definitely a more challenging pose. So we shouldn't just collapse your chest because the work is to create extension. The work is to create rib mobility. So that is most important than going deeper into the pose. Stretch your arms out again. Turning your foot, turning your left leg out, spreading your chest. Spreading your chest. The right side of the chest, the left side of the chest. Spreading your collarbones, go down. Keep your right leg firm. Keep the spreading of the chest as you go down. Now, when you hook your arm and you place your left hand on your hip, see that your left sitting bone is coming down. At the same time, keep your right inner thigh up. Turn from the right side of the abdomen up. Don't drop your right pelvis. Use the arm. Turn the rib cage. Keep spreading the collarbones. Tuck your hip in. Inhale and come up. Turn your toes in. Jump and come back to the center. Once more, joining the big toes, lifting the armpits, rolling the shoulders back, keeping the elbows straight, stretching down through the fingers, soft, smooth inhale and exhale. Next, we go for Parigasana. Parigasana also helps us to extend the spine, especially when we are doing any backward extension. We have been working for all these weeks actually for the main purpose to create extension of our spine. Our spinal column has to become strong, supported by all the muscles, the front, the sides of the back. And then the body is carried by the lift of the spine, which usually is not the case. That is why our posture, the body sinks, because the main frame of our structure is not yet attuned to lifting. And when we come to yoga, that is the main thing that we are trying to work towards. So, Parigasana, you can take a blanket or you can be on the floor, be on your knees, place your hands on your hips, and then taking your right leg out to the side, stretch your right leg out, toes pointing up, keep your pelvis even, buttocks in, spread your arms from the center of the chest, keeping the chest open, take a deep inhale, and with an exhalation, go down from the pelvis. Again, we get a good chance to really spread our chest, Think of Parshvakonasana, especially in Parshvakonasana. We don't want to curve our spine. Keep the spinal extension, turning your abdomen, turning your chest. Inhale and come up. Bring your hands on the hips. Bring your knee back. Pause here for a few moments. Again, the both sides of the chest, keeping the front bottom ribs lifting, extending our lumbar spine, and keeping our thighs back. A lot of these movements are repeated because that is what our tendencies can be. Now let's go to the left. Stretch your left leg out. You could have what I did for the previous one, but the foot was flexed. You can also have your foot down if you have enough foot mobility. Thigh draws into the hip. Outer hips are in. Spread your collarbone. Stretch out from the center of the chest. Maintain the lift and length of your spine. Keep the sides of the trunk lifting as you go down. Lift that left side as much as the right side. Don't let it collapse. Now, when you place your hand on the hip, maintain the lift and length of your spine as you take your arm across. So the arm helps to create an extension. Keep the head up. Don't look down. And if you are going to go down, you have to see that both sides of your trunk are extending as you go down from the hip. Especially the left hip. Left hip has to turn. Left chest turns. Inhale and come up. Bring your foot in. Bring your hands back. And pause. Now we are going to go for Parshvottanasana. This is where we start moving into the sequence where we start moving our head downward, because that itself is creating a different set of movements. So let's start with Parshvottanasana. We were going to do concave spine to begin with, and then we will take our head down. So bring your hands in the center, spread and jump the legs out. Now keep the arms extending and keep the chest open, and then place your hands on your pelvis. Turn your left foot in, turn your left foot in, and turn your right knee, right thigh, right foot out completely. Again, keeping the compactness of the hips, keep the hip back and in as you turn your pelvis. Keeping the legs firm, reach your arms up and go down from the hip. You can use blocks or whatever's needed. Now here we have to stop a little. You need to be in such a position so that when you press your hands, you're able to stretch the sides of your spine. This is important. If you feel your back is rounding, you have to come up higher so that you can lengthen the sides of the chest. At the same time, shoulders go back. Our upper arms roll, shoulders back, side chest long, front ribs long, head long, look up. So this is our concavity of our spine. Now maintaining this, go down, elongating the sides of the body. Don't be in a rush to take your head down. Keep stretching the right side, left side, and then finally take your head down. So we must keep these sides long. And for that, you can even take your elbows wider. Be firm on the legs. Keep your right hip in, left hip in. Now, when you want to come up, look up, come back to the concave back, shoulders back, stretch your side chest, pressing into the back leg. Bring your hands on the hip, inhale and come up. Turn your toes in, feet pointing straight, pressurizing the outer edges of the heel. And then we go to the other side. So turn your left leg out again from the root of the thigh. Turn your right toes in. See that the whole foot has turned. Now when you're turning your chest, reach your arms up. Let's do it with Utkatasana. Use the arms like you did in Virabhadrasana 1 to lift the side trunk up. In fact, as you go forward, in Virabhadrasana 1, we also took our left hip back as we brought our right hip forward. Stretch both arms long. Maintain the extension of the spine and lightly drop your hand. What's important is you don't shorten the front spine. This has to grow long. Lengthen forward. Keep your thighs back, hips back. Go to the side trunk. You can walk your hands forward. Stretch the sides of the trunk. Look up, chin up, chest up. Once you feel your dorsal has moved in, you can keep your shoulders back. Spreading your elbows, go down from the hip. You can take your arms back, but keep the sides of the chest long. Notice how I'm not shrinking. Elongate, lengthen the spine.
then your head goes down. So your head shouldn't be shrinking. Head is long, side chest long, back leg firm. Inhale and come up. Bring your hands on the pelvis, press into the legs and come upright. Turn your toes in, jump and come back to the center. Once more, stand tall, spread your collarbones, keep the spreading action of the chest, keep a compactness of your hips. The outer calf muscle comes in, the thighs roll in, move the inner knees back, inner groins back, but move the buttock in without throwing the hips forward. Yeah, this is what causes us to be in this position. So you have to resist. You have to get strong in the legs, rolling our thighs, moving the thighs back, but moving the middle buttock in. Observe that. Can you keep that for a few moments looking forward? Next, we're going to go for Prasarita Padottanasana. Here also, it's a spinal extension. I will show the side view because it is important to know that. So, as you spread your legs and you have a good connection here, the frontal thighs roll in, yet your outer thigh bones come into the body. Draw the thighs into the hip. Lift the front pelvic bones as you go forward. As you go forward, place your hands directly underneath your shoulders. Again, if you find your back is rounding, you're tighter, you need to place your hands on a higher height. Place your fingertips, press your fingertips, straighten your arms and stretch the sides of your trunk. The sides of the trunk have to go forward. The abdomen has to go forward. The head has to go forward. Now, after you've got that, you can walk your hands in, but don't shorten here. Keep the extension of the spine, shoulders back, chin up, chest up. Now, place your hands if you're able to go down. And from here, keeping our elbows in, our shoulders go back, our collarbone spread. You let the crown of your head go down. You can walk your hands in. That is okay. Be firm on the legs. Let the head go down. Stretch the sides of the body. So these parts have to become long to go. Don't cave in. Yeah, so you have to elongate. Go to the side chest. Let your head go down. Be firm. And then here, yes, it's a bit like allowing our head to be in this position as it prepares us. Prasarita prepares us to create the Sirsasana head action, where you can see my head is down, my crown of the head is facing the floor, and I have to still lift my shoulders. I have to work on bringing my upper arms in, pressing the hands, lifting the shoulders, and the side trunk has to go down. It's from there that I go down, not from anywhere else, and of course the hip. Let your bottom come above your heels. Breathe softly. Spread your collarbones. See that your neck is not constricted. Now look up. Bring your hands in the front. Press your hands, shoulders back. If you're unable to, you can always shorten your distance a little bit. Place your hands on the hip. Inhale and come up. Okay, so that is also good preparation. Even if you cannot do Sirsasana, it is useful to take the head down, how to lift the shoulders, how to let the legs work, how to stretch and lengthen the sides of the trunk. All very important parts of growth in terms of our practice. Okay, so now we are going to go for Uttanasana. So for Uttanasana, I'm going to turn my mat around. So same thinking. Here too, we are extending the side trunk. Stand with your feet hip distance apart. Roll your thighs in, move the inner thighs back, inner knees back. Look forward as you go forward from the pelvis. Now bring your hands down, bring your hands directly underneath the shoulders. Again, elbows straight. Stretch the sides of the body long. If you need to walk your hands forward, that's fine. But at the same time, after you've stretched, you bring your hands underneath the shoulders. So the shoulders go back. Don't let the shoulders be loose. Shoulders back. Move the arms into the shoulder joint, chin up, chest up. Now, when you're going down, don't think of the head first. Think of these Try to see, can you move these closer to the legs? So the side trunk moves closer. Move the abdomen back in as you go down, and you let your head release. Again, if you have a big round on your back, stay higher. It's most important to create spinal extension when we are working. This is what's going to bring us the benefit. Your spine will become strong and healthy. So it's not important that you just take your head down. What's happening with the rest of your trunk is very important. What's happening in the legs, in the arms. Breathe into the sides of the chest. Now come up, and then I think we're going to do Palangustasana. So you can go directly from here. As you grip your fingers tightly, you press your big toes, roll your pelvis over, arms straight. You're almost pulling the side trunk. So this is almost like Paschimottanasana, Urdhva Paschimottanasana. That means we are not Urdhva Dandasana, sorry. When we are not going down, we are extending the sides of the body. Yeah, so we keep the extension of the sides of the body, move the shoulders down, lengthen the front of the spine, chest up, look forward. Now, of course, if you can go down, but keep the sides of the trunk long. Try not to lose it as you let your head go down. Your elbows can stretch from the side trunk to the armpit, and you can take your hips, abdomen closer, but again, be watchful that your front anterior spine doesn't shrink, which causes the roundedness of the back. Elongate the front ribs long, stretching the side, letting your head go down. Knees straight. Keep your hips firm. Now straighten your arms, bring your hands on the hips, inhale and come up. Okay, so now we are going to go for Adho Mukha Svanasana. This is also an extension of the side trunk. Our spine is actually lifting away. In a way, Adho Mukha Svanasana is your first experience of an inversion because you're asked to lift your spine against gravity. So if you think of all these poses, this is where we are leading to. So spread the fingers evenly. See that you've got your index finger, thumb, the palms of your hands spreading equally. Walk your legs back. Once you walk your legs back, see that your elbows are lifting. Your armpit is opening. So you move the armpit, chest down, stretch. That means we are usually falling into the pose, right? At the beginning when we start. So what is it that we have to work? We have to create this extension. We have to create this extension. So with the help of the arms, we have to stretch back. The sides of the chest have to move towards the pelvis. So the whole spine has to go upward. And then once you're here, spread the back of your thighs, roll your thighs in, and you have to move the knees back, move the shins back, so you end up on the heels. So you have to teach your spine to go back. Arms up, lifting that spine up. Elbows straight, knees straight, thighs back. Now come down. Rest. And then we are going to go for Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. So we also learned Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. It's only we have reached back bends. Considering after all these weeks, we have some lift happening. And if we don't have the lift, then we cannot go back. So if your spine is collapsing, then we cannot do back bend. So that's why it comes right at the end, and we do very few, and it has to be done with care and understanding. Of course, you have to be with the teacher who is guiding you through the process. So let's do Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. So spread the hands. And then from here, we can do it from the 4-point kneeling position once, and then we can move also from the floor. So when we go from here, then you have to shift your whole shoulders, your elbows, your pelvis, lower down in the direction of your hands. And as you do that, you lift your legs up. Your legs have to be strong. So inner thighs have to lift, your hip has to be firm, but your buttock has to come down. As you take your shoulders back, it's that same rotation. The shoulders don't go forward. Spread your collarbones and stretch your legs. Chest has to come forward. Buttock in. Now down. Now you also can do it from the floor. So when we do it from the floor, your hands go back like you're doing Chaturanga Dandasana. You curl the toes under, and then from here, one is we point our toes. So as you point your toes, you move your shoulders back, you look forward, and you lift yourself up, right? So we come up from the floor. So you have to press the nails down, lift your knees, lift your thighs, move the buttock in, move the back of the body in, lengthen both sides of the trunk, shoulders back, and then down. Now, if you have any lower back pain, then it's better if you did it with your knees, toes curled under. So again, our hands go back, our shoulders go back, press into the floor. As you move forward, you have to move forward with your pelvis. As you move forward with your pelvis, yet your knees have to lift, thighs lift, chest open. Look straight. Press your thumbs and index finger. And then down. Rest. Now from here, we are going to go directly to the 3 prone back bends we have learned. So that's Dhanurasana, Shalabhasana, and Ustrasana. Let's do each pose twice. So come down on the floor, bend your legs, grab the ankles. See that you're pushing the feet into the hands, your arms are straight, your shoulders are moved back, you're spreading the collarbones. Now press into the pelvis, press into the hands, and kick the legs back to lift the thighs off the floor. And use the legs as you extend the shins to lift your chest. Now down, rest. And we repeat again. So one more time. Keep the buttocks moving in, especially we don't go from the lumbar spine. We have to see that our tailbone really moves in, our buttock moves in. Then we grab our legs. See that your knees are pointing straight, not going to the right and the left. Look straight. Move, hold on tight to your shin bones or the tops of the feet. And as you press the tops of the feet into the hands, lift the chest up. Make your arms straight, shoulders back, rolling your upper arms, lifting the chest. As you press your hips down, lift the thighs up and lift the knees up. And then down. Rest. Shalabhasana. So once more, you lay down, lift your thighs, pointing your toes. See that you've created the extension. Keep your weight on the little toe side. The back of the thigh should be spreading. Then from here, we lift our head up. Our shoulders have to go back. Our arms stretch in the direction of the feet as we lift our arms up and our legs up. Again, pressing your hip down. Keep the back of the thighs stretching, lifting, knees straight, arms straight. And then down. And then one more time. So again, pressing your pelvis down, stretch your legs. And then from here, keeping your hip down, shoulders back, elbows straight, lift the legs up, extend through the elbows, and keep the extension of your thighs, knees straight. And then down, and then rest. Now come up, and we are going to do Ustrasana. So you can be here in Ustrasana. So again, it is all about the elongation of the trunk. You have to see that your whole shin bone is evenly pressing down. Keep your weight. Our calf muscle has to roll out, not collapse in like this. So you have to make sure your calf muscle rolls out so you can press the whole shin bone down firmly. That's the root of our pose. Spread the buttocks, move the tailbone in, look straight. Now maintaining this, again, we lift the sides of the trunk up. Keep the buttock in, keep the abdomen in. Don't throw forward from here, right? So we have to keep our pelvis, abdomen, lifting our spine as you go down. If you can take your hands back, you can go back with the hands. Chest up. Press it into the shins, keeping your buttock in. Stretch your side chest. Lift your chest. Inhale and come up. Once more. Press the shins down. Spread the buttocks. Keep your outer thighs in. And maintaining the tailbone in. Lift the side trunk. Lift the chest. Keep lifting the chest as you go back. Remember Trikonasana. You have to lift the chest now in a backward position, which is far more difficult. First, it is easy. So you have to keep the lift of the chest. And if your hands go down, it goes down. Like in Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, you have to press. You have to rotate and lift the sides of the chest up with the arms as you take your head back. Press the shin bones. Press the little toe side. Keep the buttock in. Inhale and come up. And that's enough for, you're a beginner. So take a rest. Sit down for a moment. And we've done all this work. So just to release the back, we must do something because, of course, when we are starting, we are not doing the poses correctly. So you always have to do a little remedy to make sure we cause no harm. So that's why we do this Adho Mukha Svanasana to correct any kind of imbalance which might have happened. So it's a very even pose. So spreading the fingers, you go up. And once more, you let your head go down. Stretch the sides of the spine. Stretch the extension of the spine. Take your thighs back. Keep elongating the spine, lifting and moving the heels down. Knees tight. Spread the back of the thighs. Elbows straight. And then come down. Okay, good. Now from here, we come down to the floor. So let's do a few of our seated poses. Let's start with Swastikasana in Parvatasana. So we just Parvatasana and Swastikasana. We can just sit on the floor, or if you need a height. I am going to use a height because it is better. So I'm going to use a blanket. Give your legs a rest. And also these poses are, as I said, when we are starting out with certain postures, some certain asanas, especially back bends, we are not exactly doing them right. So we must always have, this is the beauty of the sequence. So if you start really studying the sequence, you realize why each pose is placed after another. So we did all these back bends, and now we have to reset our spine before we go ahead. So that is why we are seated here, and we are going to again go into Baddhanguli Asana, spread the fingers, and with an inhalation go up. So use this to really lift and create the extension of the spine. So any discomfort which might have happened gets relieved in this pose. So that's why it is important to understand what a sequence does for us. As we press our hips down, lift your abdomen, lift the side chest, lift the upper arm. So the spine becomes long. And then bring your hands down. Now change your clasp, turn the palms out. Again, bringing your elbows in, spread through the center of the palm. With an inhalation, go up. One more time, as you spread the palms, bring your outer upper arms in, bring the outer shoulders in, and lift that side chest up. Lift your side trunk up more and more. Press your hips down. Move the back of the body in. Don't throw the abdomen forward. Keep the abdomen drawn back as you extend upward. And bring your hands down. Now we go for Parvatasana, Virasana. So you can use the blanket. I'm going to just fold the blanket and use it. And come into Virasana. And of course, if you cannot sit in Virasana, then you can do Swastikasana. But we are getting ready because after Virasana, this position will take us to Bharatvajasana. So these positions of the knees is created. Again, interlace the hands, turn the palms out. With an inhalation, go up. So again, we are using these to again free up the spine, stretch the armpits, bring some aliveness into ourselves. Then bring our hands down, change, turn the palms out, keep the outer elbows in. With an inhalation, go up. Again, stretch your armpits, stretch your elbows, lift both sides of the spine. See that your abdomen is back And how can you take the abdomen? We have to really lift these parts up, up, up. And then the abdomen draws back in, because that is the reason we have our abdomen forward. We have to create space and elongation of the spine. And then bring your hands down. Now, Bharadvajasana. After we've created this extension, we have to keep the spreading of the chest as we revolve, like we did in Parivrita. So we can't be twisting or moving off center. So this is our intention. Now we prepared our spine with this extension so that we can create the movements through the twisting, right? So let us start. So you can sit in Dandasana. Have both your legs straight. We first take our legs over to our left side. So you know how to keep your knees pointing straight. Of course, if your hips are uneven, you can please put a blanket so your pelvis is level. Descend your hips down. Your heel should not be in a position where you cannot get your left hip to go down. Both knees pointing straight. Now pressurize adjust your Virasana foot. The ankle shouldn't be out. Make sure it's straight. Press the little toe side down. Now lift your left arm up, descending your left thigh down, turning your abdomen, turning your chest. Place your hand on the thigh. We are just going to do the turn. The more complex one is harder. For now, we are just sticking to this. When you hold your leg, your focus should be that, yes, I press my left hip down. I lift my left waistline up. And then I turn my abdomen. So turn your abdomen, turn your chest. Also be aware that your arm is not coming before the chest, because it's the action of the back ribs that we have to think of. So if your hand has to bend, that is okay. Spread your collarbones and move this back bottom rib. Lift the frontal spine and then move that back bottom rib in and spread your whole muscles away from the spine to turn. And then focus your attention also on your right shoulder. Your right shoulder goes back. Your left hip is down. Now come back to the center. And now we are going to go to the other side. So both legs straight again. And now we shift our legs over to our right side. So you have your knees pointing straight. You have your foot. Use the support. See that your knees are straight again. And then we go to keeping our pelvis level, having the chest open, lengthening both sides of the torso. Now lift your right arm up. Maintain the right outer hip down. Lift the right side of the chest. Hold the outside of your left leg. And now descending your right thigh down. Lift the right hip up, lift the right waistline up, and move that right side of the chest into the body. Spread your collarbones as you take your left elbow back. Make sure you're spreading your chest evenly on the right and the left. Don't be heavy. In fact, observe, are you heavy? Like right now, I have become a little heavy on my outer hip. So I have to be even. Be on the inner sitting bone and the outer hip. So be even on the sitting bones as you revolve your torso. Now come back to the center. And again, these twists are good, needed to relieve any tension in the back, which we might have caused through our initial kind of journey into back extensions, which is definitely a much more complex asana than the ones we have been doing previously. So now from here, we are going to go for just the leg action for Bharadvajasana 2. So here in Bharadvajasana 2, once more, as we take our left leg to Virasana, our right leg can be in Padmasana. So again, if you do not have knee mobility, you can just also practice a little bit sitting higher, just moving the leg in and maintaining the leg. If you're able to move your hip down, you can extend. Please do not do this if you are unable to do it, especially while just watching the video. You must work with the teacher so that you can do this. Now let's change. And then we do on the other side. So just the leg movement. So again, I fold my right leg in Virasana. My left leg comes to Padmasana. Again, we cannot pressurize the knees of an important joint. The movement has to come from the hip, right? and there is an extension from this connection. So if this is missing, then yes, our knee will be quite high, and therefore it is best not to attempt it. If you know your knee and your hip is in this position, please don't try this, okay? At least at home, without supervision. So now from there, we are going to go for Supta Padangusthasana 1 and 2. So please grab your belt, and I will get mine too. So lie down in Supta Tarasana. Supta Padangusthasana also is good in terms of releasing our back, and it also prepares us for the next set of inversions, how to stretch our legs. So straighten your legs, lift your head up a little bit to see your feet are together. Move the frontal thighs down, extend your inner legs. And now let's start lifting your right leg up, put the belt around the bottom of your foot and stretch your leg up. Keep your thigh moving into the hip. We have to see that. Keep your hips compact and stretch your legs long. So especially if we are doing any kind of inversions as well, we have to keep this compactness of the hip. Knees straight, also the bottom leg. See that it's not rolling out. Roll the thigh in, stretch your leg, push the inner knee down. Now let's go to the other side. Take your left arm to the side. As you take your leg out from the hip, extend your leg. Like we were stretching our trunk, we have to keep stretching our leg long. Keep the extension of the leg. See that your inner leg is long. See that your outer hip is in. It's not falling to the floor and pulling you down. Yes, you have to stretch, but you have to keep your chest even. Inhale and come up. Let's change. Both legs straight again. Toes pointing straight. Rolling our thighs inward, moving the inner knees down, and then go to the other side. So lift your left leg up, place the belt around the bottom of your left foot, thighs tight, stretching your left leg, pulling the thigh into the hip. See that your right thigh is not rolling out or puffing up. So of course, these are all tight tissues of the hip. So we have to stretch the quadricep. We have to roll our thighs in. We have to stretch our inner leg long as we extend. This is part of the work, right? Our body is being changed and addressed and sort of stretched through all these asanas, getting circulation to move in different parts. Now let's go to the other side. Again, taking your right hand as a support. Keep your attention. Right thigh stays down, right inner leg long. Keeping your right thigh in, go down, extending your left leg. As you take your left leg, straighten your left thigh. Keep your right hand so your chest is not leaning. Don't turn your head. Your head is level, looking straight up to the ceiling. Inhale and come up. Now bend your leg and come up. And yes, you guessed it. I guess you should by now. Guess what? Salamba Sirsasana. Salamba Sirsasana. So again, we do it in the wall. It's very important as a beginner. You start slowly, not putting so much pressure, working on basic key actions of the pose. And I'm going to just do a little repetition of the head position, and then I will go up just to show you. So before we go to the wall, I'm going to revise a little bit just so that you are quite conscious of how you're taking things down. And even if you don't do Sirsasana, supposing you're not ready yet, if you do a little bit of this itself will start getting you working better, right? So you don't have to do that pose. For people who cannot, this is good. So when you interlace your hands, you have to see that your palms are not closed. There is space. The fingers are clasped, that there is a kind of round, it's a round spaciousness of our hand. And you can just simply practice that. You can use the edge of the blanket. You can create this dome shape so that what happens when you press your forearms down and you press all the wrist edge down, when you take the crown of your head down, then you wait and you see that the hands are not collapsing. The hands hold. They are holding your head in place. And you have to see that you lift your shoulders and keep the weight on the crown of your head. Now, when you go up, what happens is we go like this, right? So we go to the front crown. You must keep this here. And if you are practicing this connection, try to see, can you press here, lift the shoulders, keeping the weight on the crown of the head, you gently lift your knees up. Even if you're walking forward, you keep the lift. This is not something you have to do for a long time. You can just practice and see that you're able to sustain the lift. It is not collapsing, because you can see this is the collapsed spine, and this is not good for us if we haven't learned to lift our spine to go to Sirsasana. So come down and rest, and you can practice like that for a while. Because what is most important in learning Sirsasana is this extension of the spine. I will show one more time. When we place the crown of the head, yes, we are putting the weight on our head. Our shoulders are lifting. Our elbows and forearms are pressing to stabilize our shoulders. Then you come up. You have to see what you did in Supta. The thighs move to the hip. You have to lift your spine up, not collapse. Yeah, this we cannot do. Then you come down, rest. Okay, so now we can go to the wall. So I just put my blanket against the wall and I go up to Sirsasana. Again, when I'm here and I'll take my legs up, you can go up one leg at a time. You can get someone to help you if you're able to. And when you stay, again, it is not falling into the pose. Yeah, this is my spine not working. It's falling into the pose. You have to strongly push. You have to lift your spine up. You have to lift the side chest up. For all the previous poses, we've done that. You have to roll your thighs in. You have to stretch your legs. So the whole body weight is going upward. And yes, you can press your heels, and we don't throw our abdomen forward. We keep our abdomen back, but that means you have to stretch to move the abdomen back into that space. Only then we can feel the extension of our spine. And again, when you're a beginner, you don't want to stay long in the pose because you want to just get used to this extension. It's better to stay short period extending than to stay long like this. As you can see, one side is dropping, twisting. This is not good. We will cause pain and discomfort later as we progress. So now come down. Rest. And now we move on to finish off. And today we will be doing all the variations of our Sarvangasana. We won't perhaps stay too long in each of them. But again, it's this whole idea of lifting our spine, especially when we are in Sarvangasana. We are doing this against gravity, right? In that sense, you are using the shoulders are open. One more thing I want to point out a little bit, because of course I'm not there explaining these things to you. When we go for Sarvangasana, we cannot have the chest collapse. That's why this spreading action is important. The collarbones have to spread. The shoulders have to go back. And even when you take your arms in a belt, you have to see that the chest has spread. So the chest has to spread. Only then we can get this nice, I'll show you from the side. If the chest is collapsing, then my neck is going to cause stress. So we have to spread our chest. We have to roll the shoulders back to move that dorsal in. And then it is Sarvangasana. So this part of the spine cannot be collapsing and going in this direction. It has to go away in this opposite direction. Of course, I will reinforce that when I teach it again last time, your Sarvangasana. But be conscious of this movement. Okay, so get ready, get your prop set up, and I will do as well. So as always, I've set up the chair as well because I think it's quite useful to do that. So now, before I start, I want to explain this. When you put the belt, you don't want your chest to collapse, of course. So you want a spreading of the chest. So based on your body, when you place your belt, you must see before you go up that you are able to spread your collarbones and take these outer shoulders back. And the belt is to see that your arm doesn't go out. So when the elbows slip, so it keeps your elbows in and it doesn't. But the spreading, the chest, the shoulders, the collarbone spreading and the shoulders being able to go back is an important part of the pose. That means you have to be rotating your upper arm, right? So this rotation of the upper arm has to happen. It is only then, let me show you from the side, when you cannot rotate your upper arms, when you're unable to lift the side chest up, then your shoulder blades will not move in. And then we will feel the tension on our back. So we have to see that our shoulder blades move in and away from the head side. This is important when we are doing Sarvangasana. So the back of the neck is soft. It is not collapsing in this way. So if you are tighter in the shoulders, it is okay to have your belt a little bit broader so that you can get the spreading of the chest. I hope that's clear. So now I'm going to go up and I will repeat those instructions so it becomes a bit clearer to you. So again, I adjust. I see my sides of my leg is long, especially when you're a beginner. You don't want your neck to be flat against this. You want this bone here and you want your neck to be free. And you can adjust your head so the back of the neck is long. Then, yes, you go, you bend your legs, you press your hands and you throw your legs up on the chair. Sorry, I didn't put a bolster today, but yes, if you are unable to lift your bottom from the floor, you can put a bolster. Now, like in Halasana, so when we learn Halasana, we really roll the outer shoulders here. You can hold the side edges of the mat. As you walk, your feet focus on the sides of the chest. You have to lift. You have to lift the sides of the chest. And as you lift that, then you come to the shoulders. Now we are going to put our belt. So you place your belt. And after you've placed the belt, hopefully you're just actually watching this first before you even attempt it. Then you roll your outer shoulders. You see that your outer shoulders are in. You stretch your arm bones. Make the elbows firm. Again, lift the side chest. Lift the legs. Extend your spine. Then you put your hands on the back. So that this is not the case. We cannot go up in Sarvangasana with this back. We have to move the back ribs in, lift the side chest up, lift our spine, extend it, and then we take our leg up. And this lift has to continue as you go up. So we have to use our hands, we have to use our awareness to lift. And then, of course, we have to stretch our legs. Keep stretching the knees, heels, observe, roll your thighs in, lift the side chest, lift the thighs, move the back ribs in, move the buttocks in, and press your elbows. Now from here, we go for Ekapada Sarvangasana. So go on stretching your left leg as you take your right leg down. The more you stretch, the more you lift your left side. Then the right leg goes down. You can place your leg on the chair. Again, lift up. Lift your right side, lift your right inner leg, and take your left leg down. And then lift that left leg up. Use your hands to lift the back. Press your elbows. And then from here we go for Parshva. So you turn, you bring your leg down, and you can move your foot down to the side and keep the leg extending. This is like Supta Padangusthasana. You have to keep your outer hip lifted, stretching your left leg. Now bring the leg back. And then we go to the other side. As you turn your left leg, keep that left buttock tucked in. Keep stretching your right leg. This is also like Supta Padangusthasana. Remember the thigh work, the extension, the straight leg towards the ceiling is as important as the leg going down. Keep lifting the side chest. And then bring the leg back up. And then we can do Ardha Halasana. Be here for a while. Readjust. Lifting the back of the body away. The shoulder blades move in. lifting the spine, extending. If you're able to go down with the legs on the floor, you can also do that. I'm just showing you. And then we can do Karnapindasana. And then we can do Supta Konasana. So stretching your legs. Again, lifting the side trunks, lifting your knees, stretching your heels. Lift the inner knee, lift the right side of the spine, the left side of the spine. Press your elbows down. And then from here we go for Parshvahalasana. So start walking your legs over to the right side. Pause. Keep both sides of the hip lifting, knees straight. And then walk your legs over to the left. Again, lift the left hip, lift the right hip, straight legs. Now come back to the center. Supta Konasana. One more time. Let's repeat. And now bring your legs in. And be in Halasana. And then you can take the belt out. Be in Karnapindasana. And now slowly use your hands to support yourself as you come down. Just be there quiet for a few moments. Don't do too many things. And now come up. And now we do Paschimottanasana. Yes, Paschimottanasana is to quieten the mind. But it is also because we've been putting our head and neck and shoulders on this. Maybe you have, sometimes we get neck issues or anything. So the pose, the next asana is to remedy that. So that is Paschimottanasana. So your focus should be, when you're doing the pose, is to actually, I'm going to use the belt to retain the curvature back again. So when you place your belt and you lift up, so you roll the upper arms, you lift the chest up. In Paschimottanasana, the dorsal spine doesn't go out like this. So you have to lift the side chest, lift the side armpit chest, and move the dorsal in and move the shoulders down. As you lift your sternum up, you can slightly look up. So that creates a kind of connection and your neck gets released. So the more the dorsal moves in, it is better for the neck. Shoulders down. And then you can go forward. Yeah, so you can even, I can use the chair perhaps. So I can just use the chair. I will use my blanket for my head. So just, it's not on a metal cold surface. So it gives more quietness in the pose. And then I can stay here for a moment. Yeah, so moving that dorsal in. Even here, you can work on moving the abdomen, the dorsal in, and letting your head rest. You can be quiet here for a few moments. Now inhale and come up. And now we are going to go for Shavasana. And so we come to the last asana, that is Shavasana. So please position yourself on the center of your mat, keeping your feet down, taking your head down. Again, all this opening of the chest, spreading the collarbones, taking your outer shoulders down, moving the shoulder blades into the back, keeping the chest open, and then maintaining the chest open, your head straight. Go ahead and slowly straighten your legs. Of course, you can use a blanket if you need, if your neck has more tightness or stiffness. And now let go and be quiet for a few moments. Relax your facial muscles. Relax your jaw, relax your throat. become quiet. And when we are in Savasana, we are actually trying to let go of the arms, let go of the legs, quieten our sense organs. So our eyes are drawing back in. I am guiding you, so I'm speaking, but otherwise your tongue is soft and relaxed, not moving. Your ears moving more inward. Become more aware of the sensations of the body, the way the body is resting on the floor. Observe the way where your arms are, your legs are, the position of your head. Moving your attention more into this experience of just the body, observing the sensations, and withdrawing our senses. Now, slowly, at your own pace, bring your hands back one at a time, resting on your abdomen. Bending your right knee, your left knee. Bending your right arm, gently roll over to the right side. Being there quiet for a few moments. And then using your left hand to press into the floor with an inhalation, slowly come up. And that is all. That is the end of our sequence of asanas in the preliminary course of learning Iyengar Yoga for beginners. So hopefully it is of benefit to you, and thank you very much for watching. And please do write in the comments any suggestions, anything that you would like me to teach or demo, or any aspect of yoga that you're interested in. And if it's possible, I will do my best to make a video on that, on the subject, of course, any subject relating to Iyengar Yoga. Thank you. Namaste.